Hello friends, once again I am your Oniri ma'am and today I am here with your new topic, lesson number 9. Madam rides the bus. It's from your main text, first flight, and today we are going to discuss this beautiful and interesting lesson. Here in this lesson you will find a very good character named Valley, and she is the 8-year-old girl who is very brave and who has a strong desire to have a ride in a bus. And how she fulfill his desire, what sort of ideas or plan she made, and is she able to fulfill her desire or not, that we will see in this lesson. I hope you liked it. Yes, Madam Ride the Bus by Valley Kannan. He is the author of this text, and here he beautifully depict the what we can say, the strong desire of a very small child and how she will try to fulfill her desire. That is the important aspect that we are going to see in this lesson, and we'll get us also inspiration for that. We must salute the girl's bravery as well as her mind, that how she will manage to go and come further. Yes, introduction. The lesson Madam Rides the Bus is about a brave 8-year-old who had a strong desire and along with it the courage to fulfill it. She liked gazing at the hustle and bustle of the street, and her favorite part was the sight of a bus arriving and departing. Thus, she developed a deep desire to travel by bus. So, generally, it is a story about a 8-year-old girl who has a strong desire. Along with it, she has the courage to fulfill it. Now, what is her desire? So, she liked to gazing the hustle and bustle of the street. Means she really happy to see this kind of, what we can say, that hustle and bustle means the here and there people are going, so that uh, the activity which is happening on the street, she would love to watch that is the favorite part of her sight and of her day. And the favorite part of the sight was bus arriving and departing, and thus she developed a deep desire to travel by bus. So this is how her deep desire or wish to travel by bus is started. For that, she needed all sorts of information about the bus journey, collect the bus fare, and then plan it so that she could be back at home before her mother woke up from her afternoon nap. Thus, the story brings us a recount of how innocently but responsibly she fulfilled her deepest desire and her experience on the bus ride. How an incident make her realize the reality of death. So here we come to know that she is very intelligent to get sorts all the information about a bus journey. She collect that bus fare and then plan it so that she could be back at home before her mother woke up from her afternoon nap. And this story brings us a recounts of how innocently but responsibly so she fulfilled her deepest desire and her experiences on the bus ride. How an incident makes her realize the reality of death. Now, what incident come across her mind, that we will see in the lesson. There was a girl named Valley who was called Valley for short. She was 8 years old and very curious about things. Her favorite pastime was standing in the front doorway of her house, watching what was happening in the street outside. There were no playmates of her own age on her street, and this was about all she had to do. Now, curious means eager to know or learn something. So, the story is about an 8-year-old girl named Valley, or preferably Valley. Just like every child, Valley is eager to know about new and unknown things, because of which she can spend all day looking at the hustle and bustle of the street. Moreover, she has no friends to play with, so the only option she has is to look at what is going on outside. So, this is the only option for her because there were no friends for her, belongs to her age, and according to that, her favorite pastime was to standing in front of the doorway of house, and she was watching what was happening in the street outside, and that was her favorite pastime in her in, in her childhood, or the time of noon time, where her mother used to sleep and she used to awake, and she wants to do something, she wants to play with the other friends, but she don't find her own age playmates with her. So she usually do the same thing, that she was observing the street outside of her house, and that was her favorite pastime. But for Valley, standing at the front doorway is always a bit as enjoyable as any of the elaborate games other children played watching the street gave her many new unusual experiences. The most fascinating thing of all was the bus that traveled between her town village and the nearest town. Means even though she couldn't play with friends, looking at the outside affairs was just as entertaining. She learned a lot of new things in the process, and the best part was the arrival and departure of the bus that routed from her village to a nearby town. Though she couldn't play with her friends, she was looking outside affairs, and it was also as much as entertaining with playing friends. She learned a lot of new things in the process, and new things in the process, and the best part was the arriving and departure of the bus that routed from her village to the nearest town. It passed through her street each hour, once going to the town and once coming back. The sight of the bus filled each time with a new set of passengers was a source of unending joy for Valley. Now, thus bus crossed the village street at hourly intervals, once while going to the town and the other while coming back to the village. Now, just gazing at the bus filled with a new set of passenger every time it crossed the street gave Valley lasting excitement and joy. So this every time she was watching or she was seeing the new faces of the passenger, and that was the interesting and enjoyable part for Valley, and it is also give him lasting excitement too. So this was her favorite pastime whenever she used to watching the new passenger every early passing time. Whenever she watching a new passenger, it will give her a pleasure. Day after she watched the bus, and gradually a tiny wish crept into her head and grew there. She wanted to ride on that bus, even if just once. This wish became stronger and stronger until it was an overwhelming desire. Valley would stare wistfully at the people who got on or off the bus when it stopped at the street corner. Now, wistfully longing, kindle means satellite fire. Here, feelings, a slang expression, informal word, often used with a close up group. So, now After continuously watching the bus arrive and depart from a couple of days, even she wished to take a ride on it just once. Soon the wish grew stronger and became a desire, which means that there was now more longing to travel in the bus. So slowly and steadily travel in the bus, it's become her longingness, her wish to do that. She would be fascinated by looking people's face who would step out of the bus, stopped at the street corner, and looking out the bus. It was her favorite pastime. Their faces would kindle in her longings, dreams, and hopes. If one of her friends happened to ride the bus and tried to describe the sight of the town to her, Valley would be too jealous to listen and would shout in English, "Proud, proud!" Neither she nor her friends really understood the meaning of the word, but they used it often as a slang expression of a disapproval. Now, what happened? That her desire grew to the extent that she would be jealous if any of her friends would go by bus and recite their experiences. Upon listening to them, she would exclaim that proud, proud. Neither she nor her friends knew the actual meaning of a word proud, but would use it in order to express disapproval, because her friends would are able to go there, but she won't be able to go and visit or feel the thrill of riding the bus. So she was used to speak in that way, but none of her friends would be able to understand. Over many days and months, Vallis listened carefully to conversation between her neighbors and people who regularly used the bus, and she also asked a few discreet questions here and there. This way, she picked up various small details about the bus journey. Now, discreet question means careful questions. So, in order to fulfill her desire of traveling by bus alone, she needed to be prepared with all sorts of information. Therefore, she started paying attention to conversation between her neighbors who were used to traveling by bus, and in the process would ask a few more uh, careful questions. She need to be prepared with all sorts of information, and therefore she started paying attention to conversation between her neighbor who are used to traveling by bus. In the process would ask few more careful questions to gain the further information, so she won't be able to make any mistakes, and that is why she used to ask such questions to her neighbors who regularly visit this nearer town with the help of the bus. The town was 6 miles from her village. The fare was 30 paisa only, which almost nothing at all. She had heard one well-dressed man say, but to Valley, who scarcely showed that much money from one month to the next, it seems fortunate. The trip to the town took 45 minutes. Now what happened? That few more careful questions to gain further information. So she would ask certain. This way she prepared a plan and knew that the town was 6 miles from the village. One side fare was 30 paisa, which was nothing for a well-dressed man, but was too much for a valley, and the trip duration on one side was 45 minutes. The same bus, upon finishing its whole trip till town, would bring Valley back if she paid 30 more paisa. If she could get on the bus by 1 o'clock in the afternoon and reach there by 1:45, the same bus could bring her Valley back to the village by 2:45. This way, she calculated to save that much amount and time to sneak out without any noticing. So she has counted all the things, that how much time it will take, how much money uh, it will needed, and she tries to plan according to that, and at last she will be able to understand that if she could started her journey 1 o'clock in the afternoon and reach there by 1:45, then she will be roaming around in the town, and she will be able to, she will be able to uh, came back before the time of her mother's wake. On reaching town, if she stayed in her seat and paid another 30 paisa, she could return home on the same bus. This meant that she could take the 1 o'clock afternoon bus, reach the town to 1:45, and be back home by about 2:45. On the on went her thoughts as she calculated and recalculated, planned and replanned. So she was constantly thinking about the bus journey, and she was same bus upon finishing. She think that if valley and the trip duration of one side was 45 minutes, so the same so she thought that the same bus upon finishing its all trip till town would bring Valley back if she paid 30 more paisa. If she could not get on the BC by 1 o'clock in the afternoon and reach there by 1:45, and the same bus could bring her back to village by 2:5 or 2:45. This is where she calculated to save that much amount and time to sneak out without anyone noticing. She has decided or make a plan how to sneak out from a particular place, and she really wants to enjoy the bus rides. Well, one fine spring day afternoon, bus was just on the point of leaving the village and turning into the main highway when a small voice is heard shouting, "Stop the bus! Stop the bus!" And a tiny hand was raised commandingly. Now, after replanning and recalculating, finally came with the riding way. Bus was on its usual route to the main highway. When they heard a shouting voice commanding them to stop the bus, and they heard one voice of shouting, and they are giving a signs to stop the bus. The bus slowed down to crawl. The bus slowed down to a crawl, and the conductor, sticking his head out of the door, said, "Hurry then. Tell whoever it is to come quickly." "It is me," shouted Valley. "I am the one who has to get on." Okay. So now, on hearing the voice, the bus slowed down and on seeing Valley, a small girl, to the conductor asked her to tell the one supposed to travel to hurry up. When Valley told him that she was the passenger, he was shocked to see such a young girl, and thus stopped the bus. It was hard for the conductor to believe that she was about uh, 8 years old, the way she giving her answers. "So I am the one who has to go." So he was shocked to see such a young girl, and thus stopped the bus. It was hard for the conductor to believe that she was about to travel alone. The bus slowed down to a crawl, and the conductor, sticking his head out of the door, said, "Hurry then. Tell uh, whoever it is to come quickly. It's me, shouted Valley. I am the one who has to get on. So shocked to see such a young girl and thus stopped the bus, it was hard for the conductor to believe that she was about to travel alone. Then she handed him her bus fare. The conductor offered her help to climb up the bus, but responsible and proud as she was, she made her intentions clear that she needed no help. And this is how we come across that how she brave is. The conductor By now the bus had come to a shop and was the conductor was jolly sort fond of joking. Oh, please, don't be angry with me, my fine madam, he said. Here, have a seat right up there in front. Everybody move aside, please. Make a way for a madam. It was a slack time of day, and there were only 6 or 7 passengers on the bus. So now, when Little Valley refused to take any help, the conductor sarcastically asked her not to be angry with him and that he is just trying to help her. In the light tone, he addressed her madam and escorted her to the seat while telling other passenger to make way for the madam. Since it was afternoon, not many people traveled during this time, and thus everyone's eyes were at Valley. And conductor is a kind of a he is a kind of a person, like a jolly sort of person. So he speaks to the other person that please give a way to a madam, and please try to he is just trying to help him. And in a light tone, he addressed her a madam and escorted her to sit while telling other passengers to make a way for the madam. So he was trying to convey a message to other passenger. Please give a good uh, way for a madam. And it is a noon time, so we won't find any more people or crowd in a bus because it's a noon time. They were all looking at Valley and laughed. They were all looking at Valley and laughing with the conductor. Valley was overcome with shyness. Avoiding everyone's eyes, she walked quickly to an empty seat and sat down. Okay? When Little Valley refused to take any help to the conductor, sarcastically he asked her not to be angry with him and just he was offering help. In light tone, he addressed her a madam and escorted her to the seat while telling other passengers to make a way for the madam. Since it was an afternoon time, not many people traveling during this time, and thus everyone's eyes were at Valley. All of them adored her along with the conductor while everyone was it laughing. It made Valley shy and thus she hurried to her seat to take her place. So she didn't want to face the people. May we start now, madam? The conductor asked, smiling. Then he blew his whistle twice and thus moved forward this with a roar. It was a new bus, its outside painted a gleaming white with some green strips along the sides. Inside the overhead bars Overhead bar shone like silver directly in front of Valley. Above the windshields, there was a beautiful clock. The seats were soft and luxurious. Now, again, in a sarcastic tone, the conductor seeks the approval of Madam before beginning the journey, and he asks that, "Shall we start, Madam?" And then blows his whistle twice to signal the driver to start the bus. The bus was new, as was evident from the overhead silver bars that were shining. There was a clock just in front of Valley, and the seats were extremely well shut. Okay, roar valley above the window ship, and there was a beautiful clock. Yes, there was a clock just in front of valley, and the stairs were extremely comfortable. The outside was painted in glowing white with strips on green along the side. So this is how you will find the interior part, or how bus look like. You will find here the description of bus, how the bus was, and what she is going to observe, the things that we will learn in this in this para. Valley devoured everything with her eyes, but when she started to look outside, she found her view cut off by a canvas blind that covered the lower part of her window. So she stood up on the seat and peered over the blind. So now whatever D word means, read quickly and eagerly. Canvas means a chorus fabric, and blind means a partition. So she quickly glanced at the incidents of the bus and turned towards the window to have a view of the outsider, but couldn't have the complete view, for she was too short and the window blinds were obstructing her view. Thus, she decided to stand up and to be able to look properly. She won't be able to look properly outside view of from the bus, so she really wants to see that the bars of the this window is kind of create hurdle in that, and that is why she decide to stand up to be able to look properly. So she decides uh, to stand up in her on her seat, and she really wants to know what happened outside, how the outside world is, so she is eager to see that. There was now going along the bank of canal. The road was very narrow. No one side On one side there was the canal, and beyond it palm trees, grassland, distant mountains, and the blue sky. On the other side was a deep ditch, and this occurs an occurrence of fields of a green fields, green, as far as the eye could see. The bus was now going along on the bank of the canal. So now the bus was on a very narrow road. On one side there was a canal, and beyond it trees, distant mountains, and a large blue sky could be seen, whereas no other hand there was greenery all around. So she was enjoying the view of the bus. Oh, it was also wonderful. Suddenly she was startled by a voice. "Listen, children," said the voice. "You shouldn't stand like that. Sit down." Sitting down, she looked to see who had spoken. It was an elderly man who had honestly been concerned for her build. She was annoyed by his attention. Oh, it was so. Valley was enjoying a lot when suddenly someone asked her to sit down. While sitting down to see who told her so, she saw an old man showing concern for her. Still, in no mood for anyone's help or advice, it made Valley annoyed. She didn't like that someone constantly nagging her, and but the old man is really concerned about her, and that is why he constantly telling her that please take your seats, because if roads are not pure, or roads are not that much smoother, roads are with the hurdles. So old man has concern about little girl. He thought that if they because they if she is standing on the seat, then there is a chance to fall down. So he really wants to mm, he he really wants to save Valley from that injury, and that is why he was very concerned about him, and that is why he's showing his uh, you know um, his out of courtesy he is giving her this advice. And but this advice made Valley annoyed, because she was really in a mood to enjoy the whole ride. Rather than listening someone else, she really wants to enjoy the nature, the outside view. She really wants to enjoy the ride, because for that she is only there, with a risk of her life. And also she you she also she is brave. She took a brave step to step in the bus without any elders support. But still she took this big decision, and she took this only for this craving, this deep desire to have a ride, to see the greenery, to see the scenery. And that is why she was there. And this constant nagging or asking such a question or showing concern made Valley annoyed. So, this is how her journey was going through this bus ride. This is just the start of her journey. She was just started enjoying the outsider view. There is a lots of more, and how she met the reality of death in between. That is also the most important aspect. There's this small happenings in your life will teach you a lots more lessons. It will give you so many experiences, so many feelings for something. They will provide this kind of incident, provide advices to you. They you know uh, grab your attention and crash it with the reality, that whatever we are thinking, it is not like that. The reality, the real world is something else than our imaginary world, than our own world. So it is, there is a vast difference between imagination or your thoughts and the reality. And this is how she come across in this her journey, across the reality of death, and how it will affect on her mind, and what is her thought according to that. That is the main effect of this lesson. And you will come across the things, that how it work. It's very much related to psychology, where children don't like constant nagging, and whenever someone tries to do that for their betterment, though they won't be able to understand, somehow it is too much concern become, what we can say, that become more and more punishment for them. It's not for their security, but rather they feel that punishing, suffocating with this too much concern. Okay, the elders are at right at place, and children are also right at their place. So how she deal with this kind of people, and how she will come across the reality, that reality of everyone's life, that we will see in the next part. I hope you like this. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this journey as well with Valley, though it started, but you come across her you know um, her a good aspect, or rather we can say that her intelligence, how she planned, or she used to listen every person who regularly visit the bus. So she knows the timing, she knows the fare, she also knows the in what time she can complete her adventure or this desired trip. So no one can caught her, like her mother was sleeping at that time and father was going for, there is no mention, father doesn't didn't mention in this, but if he has, then he is on the work. So she was alone at that time, and that is why she picked that time. Okay, and she has started her journey now where it should be, and that we will see in the next part. I hope you have enjoyed a lot. Take care of yourself. Bye bye.